this could be bad. We'll see. Hey, what's up you guys? My name's Allie and welcome to my channel. Today we have a very exciting video. As you can tell, we are off the couch. We are on location in my kitchen, and today we are baking a cake. And not just any cake. I've mastered the basic chocolate cake, I guess. But today we're taking it to another level because it's my little brother's birthday! And he is turning 17, and he is still able to eat bad food and stay skinny. So we are gonna make him a black tie mousse cake inspired by Olive Garden. And there's like 4 pages to this recipe, so you know that is gonna be a little rough for me. There are 4 layers to this cake. We've got the basic chocolate cake, then we've got a chocolate cheesecake, which I've never made a cheesecake before in my life. Then we have another just vanilla cheesecake, plain cheesecake I guess. And then we have a ganache layer. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. We have a ganache layer which involves melting chocolate, I believe, and I've never done that before, and I hear it is a touch and go type of thing. So we will see how this goes. We got 1 shot because the ingredients were expensive and I only bought enough for 1. So let's get into it. All right, so we've gathered the ingredients for the first layer of the cake, the chocolate cake, and step 1, preheat the oven. I think I can do that. Oven preheated. Lightly grease the pan. They always say to do this at the beginning. Why though? Because then it dries, because it takes me like 7 times longer to make a cake than an average person. So I'm going to do the first dumb thing of the day and ignore that part of the recipe for now. I'll come back to it. So this says cream with a hand mixer. Does that mean use my hands? I don't have a separate hand mixer like the ones that are like, so we're gonna use this and hopefully it goes well. But first I have to soften the butter. We got the softened butter. I am putting it in the bowl, putting this to the side to be dealt with later. And now we are adding the sugar. So we need 1 cup of sugar. That's flour. We don't want to get off to a bad start that quickly. So we are creaming the butter and sugar, and away we go. This plug doesn't work. Okay guys, we're back at it. For you this is 1 second, but I had to go flip the breaker. And I am still figuring out how to be an adult, so it took me a second to figure that out. But guess what? We're making a cake. So I am currently creaming the butter and sugar, and now I have to add the eggs 1 at a time. Did any of you ever watch Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off on Disney Channel back in like the mid-2000s? When his dad could break an egg with 1 hand and it was like the biggest deal on earth. You know what? I can break an egg with 1 hand because you know I've tried that. And 50% of the time I get shells in the mix. And since this is for someone else, since this is serious, since we're on camera, I'm not going to try that. But I will practice and I will do it if you guys want to do another Baking with Allie. That's a promise. And now we have to add the vanilla. So if you didn't know, if you're still at the point where you don't have to pay for your own things, vanilla is expensive. Vanilla is quite expensive, actually. Like, stupid expensive, and I'm not really sure why. But it does last a while. Like, I got this, I think, probably 2 years ago, about when I got married. And I have not had to replace it yet. But this was like $20, and I really just did not know that vanilla was that much. Who invented baking? That's what I want to know. I really am incapable of doing anything unless I am following a recipe and then I still screw it up. But like, who was the first person that was like, ooh, this much flour, this much sugar, this much vanilla? Who discovered vanilla? You know what I mean? Sift cocoa and flour. I'm just gonna put it in another bowl and mix it together. Okay, this is another way that we're getting off track right from the beginning. This says 1/3 cup Dutch baking cocoa. I cannot find that, probably because I bought all this from Target. instead of going 2 minutes down the street to the actual grocery store, which would have been cheaper and had more of a selection. But this is what we're working with, and hopefully this, I don't think this is gonna work at all, because I thought this was baking cocoa and it's just normal cocoa. But on the back it says that you can make a chocolate cake with this. So we're gonna try it and hopefully it works. One day I'll be really high tech and have like 2 cameras, but right now my actual camera is not working well, so we're using my phone, so I only have one angle. So you can see, maybe, the flour and the cocoa. I'm just mixing it all together. So now we are just adding this to the mixture and then mixing it up. So far so good. I mean, this probably will be the easiest part of the cake, and we've already gone slightly wrong with the cocoa. But we'll see. Well, I feel like they're easing us into it. First we got the cake, then we got the cheesecakes, which hopefully won't be that hard, I don't know. And then we got the ganache, which will probably be difficult. For me, if you're a baker, this is probably so easy, but for me, this is really next level stuff. So we'll see how this goes. This area is also quickly becoming a mess, which hopefully you can't tell too much, but I really am just prone to spilling. And I don't know, I think it's just a personal flaw. I don't think there's much I can do about it. I've tried. I actually was just out to lunch with my brother, whose birthday it is, last weekend, and my husband and I were very kind, we're so kind, and we bought him lunch, and he proceeds to roast me the whole time about how much I spilled my food. It's just a part of me. I really have tried to not, but I'm just prone to a mess. Oh my gosh. Just baker things. 10 years later, we finally finished pouring the first cake. Looks pretty good. It looks like a normal cake. So I will put this in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes, and that time will have passed in 1 second. I think we're good. Just has giant holes in the cake now, but that's fine because it's gonna be covered up with a whole layer. So now we have to actually stick this in the freezer to make sure it cools completely before the next level. Things are starting to get serious. It's time to make the first cheesecake. So we have to eat cream cheese with sugar, ½ cup of sugar. Now we will add some cocoa. I have the cream cheese, sugar, and cocoa mixture in a bowl, and I've cleaned out the main bowl so I can use it for the next step. So I need a ½ cup, right in front of my face, of heavy cream. And that's all, just whisk it on its own until it gets fluffy. Okay, I'm gonna start adding the powdered sugar. It says add a little bit at a time. I just realized what could be wrong with this. This says heavy cream. I have heavy whipping cream. I do try. It's supposed to achieve stiff peaks. That's not happening. I'm just gonna have to go with it, you know? Who knew there was a difference between heavy cream and heavy whipping cream? Probably everyone. I'm just gonna pour this into the cream cheese, cocoa, and sugar mixture. So now I have to cover it and put it in the fridge. Now we are going to do a very similar cake, actually the exact same cake, except without the chocolate. So I'll just speed this all up. All right, so the second plain cheesecake mixture is done, so I'm going to cover this up and put it in the fridge and clean some of this stuff up before we start to assemble the cake. Okay, now we're a bit more cleaned up. I have to layer up the cheesecake, so we'll do that next. So the cake is nice and cool, that's the important thing. That's why I had to stick it in the freezer, because we just did not have enough time to let it cool on its own. So now I will get out the cheesecake mixtures. Chocolate cheesecake mixture. Got our plain cheesecake mixture. And I did wash my hands, don't worry about that, okay? I'm going to put the plain cheesecake mixture on. I'm not really sure how it's gonna not mix with the chocolate, but for some reason this one seems a little bit looser like a little more watery-ish. So I'm just trying to like do a little bit more mixing. It was in the fridge for less time, so maybe that's why. So now I have to cover it and freeze for 4 to 6 hours. And because we're on a slight time crunch, it's already noon, and I wanted to be on this step at about 10 a.m. But here we are. I am only going to put it in the freezer for 4 hours, so I'm going to stop talking and do that so I stop wasting time, and hopefully that is good enough. So the first 3 major layers of the cake are done. We just have the ganache left. I'm very terrified to do the ganache and the decorations, but hopefully it goes well. I am going to go get some laundry done, do some work, all that good stuff, and I will see you in 4 hours, aka right now, I guess. It has been about 3 hours and 45 minutes, and I want to keep the cheesecake in the freezer, hopefully for 4 hours. But I wanted to get started on that last layer just because I feel like it's going to take me a hot second. And I'm really having a time crunch because we're about to go to dinner and then the movies, and then my family's going to come back here and we'll give Sam his cake. The first thing I need to do for this last layer, the ganache layer, is to heat heavy cream and butter until it comes to a boil. This part of the recipe actually does require heavy whipping cream, not just heavy cream, so this should be right. Even if the cheesecake's not right, this part should be right if I can pull it off. While the butter and the cream are melting together, I am going to get the chocolate ready. So I have a 4th cup of white chocolate chips, which I'm putting into a bowl. And then I actually got this like massive bag of dark chocolate chips and I only need about half actually, so hopefully I can get that right. That sounds kind of nice. Okay, so the heavy whipping cream and the butter have been melted together, and now I'm going to pour 4 tablespoons over the white chocolate. So I'm just using a spoon. I think it's about the same thing. My other ones are dirty. So putting 4 tablespoons over the white chocolate, and then that will melt the chocolate a bit. I'm going to pour the rest over the dark chocolate chips. Okay, I think I did not let the cream get hot enough, so I'm going to put the bowls over low heat just so it can melt a little bit. Okay, I think the white chocolate is about ready, except I was really dumb and I accidentally put this spoon that had the dark chocolate on it. So there's a tiny little bit of dark chocolate mixed in here, so it's made it kind of just like a tan color. But you know what? It's alright. Okay, so that wasn't as hard as I thought. We'll see how this dark chocolate is getting on. I feel like I'm in like Willy Wonka's factory. This dark chocolate cream butter mixture looks like the Willy Wonka like river of chocolate in the factory. You know what I'm talking about? It looks like that. Like if I had tubs and tubs of this, I could make my own chocolate lake. Okay, so both the chocolates are done. They look good, they look correct. Good job me. So now, it's a little bit early, it's like a couple minutes early, but I'm gonna take out the cake just cause I need to get this finished and in the freezer. Okay, here we go. Here's the cake. I'm very nervous. This was a lot of effort. It's pretty frozen, so that's good. Oh my gosh. Guys, wait. Aside from it not being the smoothest, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to break it at the last second. Kind of good, like, layers, right? I mean, it's honestly better than I thought it was gonna be. So I have to pour this all over the cake. I'm kind of scared. It is now pretty well distributed. I'm not mad. Guys, we did it. Okay, what's next? I gotta apply the mini chocolate chips to the side before it all hardens. which might be kind of quickly. How am I supposed to do this? This is stressful. Sam, you better appreciate this. Ignore the mess, but I think I got the chocolate chips on about as good as I can. Look at this. Oh my gosh. No one could possibly be this messy. Okay, so now I have to drizzle the white chocolate on the top. Now I am going to drizzle a little bit more dark chocolate on top to mix in a little bit so I can swirl it around. I really did not realize I had to save any. I should have looked ahead a bit more. Definitely would not want to do this every day, but better than I expected. Not cute. We'll see what I can do. I also have to store this in the freezer again, and I'm not sure how that's gonna go. Okay, this does not look as I hoped it would look, but
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Samuel. Happy birthday to you.
It tastes kind of like
Brian, what do you give it?
What am I rating it on?
Does it taste like the Olive Garden cake?
Oh, I never had the Olive Garden cake.
I've never been without
But it does actually.
Does it?
I've eaten some Olive Garden cake. It's pretty similar.
So it looks kind of crappy, but tastes okay.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
I would rate it.
Tastes fantastic.
8.7 out of 10.
Oh, okay. I'll take that.
And we're docking it for the look.
94.
94.
Out of 1.